And we're live. So welcome everybody. Welcome to this live today on Money Done Different. And this is called A Different Way with Money. And Sylvia Puentes is on here to, I guess, interview me and ask me some questions instead of me just talking. So over to you, Sylvia.
Yay. Oh, I'm so happy to join you on this live, Simone. And we're both on two different sides of the planet right now. And how did we get so lucky? You're in Casa Borgoni in Italy.
I am. I'm at the castle and I feel very lucky. It snowed last night. I've been asking for snow and I woke up this morning and there was snow everywhere. It's all gone now though. It's amazing. I was like, it just showed up for me today.
Oh, I'm going to invite everybody to your Instagram because you shared this beautiful video of you walking in the snow. And it was just so beautiful. So it's a beautiful short story if you guys want to go check it out and enjoy that first drop of snow. So thank you for sharing that, Simone.
It was a cute story. You're welcome. 5 a.m. this morning.
Oh, I love it. And I'm at beautiful El Lugar in Costa Rica, which it's not snowing, but it has had a cold front that I actually wore a sweater, actually a wool sweater the other day. You would never believe it. So anyways, just to allow people to jump on this live and join us as we start. So one of the questions I had for you, Simone, as I was looking at this live, you've always been someone that's looked at money a bit different, business in a different way. You've written a book, you've created different classes. But what would you say right now, not historically, not conceptually, but what do you see is so different about money in the world that people may not be acknowledging yet?
That's an interesting question. And I think money's always different. I think money's been different since it began. I mean, it's funny, I'm in Italy. This is actually where money began. Like money as in like the form of money of, putting it into, some form that I pay you for this, you give me this, instead of I've got eggs, you've got a pig, let's barter, instead of that, it's like money actually did start out in Italy. And it started too, so that it could create more ease. So I do see that money was started to create more ease. Is that what we chose? Yes and no. I would say now people are not choosing ease with money, but we could be choosing ease with money. My greatest thing that I realized, Sylvia, years ago, and I've seen so many people, and including myself, was when I made everything about money, money ends up controlling you. And when I say making everything about money, making everything about the money that you have and the money that you don't have. It's like you make money, I see people make money so significant and meaningful and matter, and they would only choose based on money, etc. Look at the energy of that, then that ends up controlling you. It's like, for me, I would like to invite people to a different reality where you get to be the source of your life. You get to be the source of your creative capacity instead of using, a lot of people will choose no money as the source of creation. So what if we could have more ease with money? What if it didn't have to be this, stressful situation or make it problematic? Like I was just on a podcast and I was telling David Kubis, we were talking about business and wealth and all this sort of thing. And, I've got a food forest in my backyard and I've planted a lot of trees that are not going to fruit for quite some years, like some 10, 15, 20 years. And yet planting them for a future gave me a lot of joy. Now, I also have 12 banana trees. And just before I left, I have 6 massive bunches of bananas. And it was so joyful for me to have these bananas. And I was like, some of these are going to be ready before I get home and some will be ready as I'm getting home, etc. But there was like, that's not about money. That's about the joy of having bananas, the joy of sharing bananas, the joy of cooking with bananas and then sharing what I bake, whatever that is, So what if we could have an ease with our choices and not make it so determinant on the money that we don't have?
I love that. And that's actually leading me into, you've just shared a lot of insights of where we might be or what things are changing. And you recently made a big change, right? You have this incredible book called Getting Out of Debt Joyfully. And
Mm-hmm.
you've had a class for years that I have loved. I love the book. I've loved the class. I've seen it create change in so many people.
Mm.
And this year, you chose something different.
Yeah.
So, what led you to make this shift where you've created this new class? If you could let
Mm.
us know what you were asking yourself or what you became aware of that led to this change.
Yeah, the class is called Money Done Different. And so Joy Business Facilitators, there's a whole bunch of them that have the prerequisites so they can also facilitate this class, Money Done Different. And I looked at it because, Sylvia, I've been facilitating, I know a lot of other people have too, the class based on my book, Getting Out of Debt Joyfully. Now, getting out of debt joyfully, like you said, there are so many people. Like, I've literally had thousands of people be grateful, tell me a story, send me something, and how those tools have changed their financial reality. It's translated into, I think, 9 different languages. Just over this weekend, I met this guy, this German guy, and he was telling me how he didn't know anything about Access. He bought the Getting Out of Debt Joyfully book, and his wife and him read through the book, and they started using the tools, and they started to change their financial reality. He said, we bought this farmhouse for 35,000 euro, and it's now worth over 800,000 euro. And we did that, with using the tools and like just creating this, I guess, wealth and the change in their financial reality. And then he said, we packed up and we moved to a bigger place, and we had all these boxes, everything in boxes in this barn. And his wife got really sick, and she said to him, Simone mentioned something in her book about something that I think would help me. And he said he's in the barn, like looking through these boxes, like trying to find this book, found the book. And because in the book, I've also mentioned bars, Access Consciousness bars. She got her bars run and he got his bars run. And then it started this whole, escalade of moving more into the tools. And he just came to the castle for this class, and he said, a month ago, I couldn't have afforded this class or to stay at the castle. But he said, I started using the tools again and it changed everything, etc. So there's been a lot of really cool stories that people have, and that's just a fresh one. And every time we're facilitating Getting Out of Debt Joyfully, it's the funniest thing. It's like people don't want to admit that they're in that class, or they go, oh, I don't want to join the class because that means I'm admitting I'm in debt, and then I'm going to be in more debt because I'm paying for this class. And all of these really strange points of view that people justify to create a limited reality. So I've been asking for a little while, quite a few months now, going, what is this and what can change? And this is a tool, guys. Like, you don't need to ask a question and go, right, it has to be this, and come up with an answer straight away. I've literally been looking at the energy and going, right, dear universe, like, what else is possible? Show me what else is possible. And I was at the beach at home, and I walked in the house, and I was walking up the stairs, and I went, oh, this has to be different, because everybody has a different financial reality and a different point of view around money. So what if I created something from, like, based on Getting Out of Debt Joyfully book, from using the Access Consciousness tools, but it can apply to you no matter where you're at. So now we've got this class called Money Done Different. And for me, it is money done different using the tools, because what I desire to create, what you desire to create, Sylvia, what the amazing translators desire to create, translating this right now, is different. And what I choose is not right, and what you choose is not wrong, or vice versa. So instead of going into, because the class and the book is not just for people who have been in debt. It just so happens I started to use the tools because I went, holy shit, Simone, you got to change something, right? You're creating yourself to be more and more in debt. Like, I mean, I always laugh. Einstein says the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. And that's exactly what I was doing with money. I was doing the same thing and expecting a different result. And every day I'd wake up and be like, nothing's changed here. Maybe I got more in debt, because I wasn't willing to have a look at what I was creating, what I was choosing, and look at what action could I take in order to change this. So for me, Money Done Different is so much about what action can you take to create, as we mentioned right at the beginning, more ease with your financial reality, and what could that be? What would that be?
Well, there's so many things you said there, Emma. Like one, I think one of the things you said is, that this couple mentioned they started to use the tools again.
Mm.
So I mean, that's such a beautiful reminder. It's like when you think you've read something, you think you've used it, but maybe it's time to dust off the tools again. So thank you for that reminder.
Well, also some of the, like, I mean, I've been using access consciousness tools for 25 years. And Sylvia, how long have you been using them for? Like
15.
15.
There you go.
And some of the tools that you learn right at the beginning in foundation, right at the beginning are absolute gold. And we dismiss them and go, oh, let's make it complicated, or let's do this. And you're like, no, let's, like, being in question. That was, for me, that was one of the biggest things I ever came across, in the sense of, what? I ask questions. I've been told my whole life I have to find an answer. I have to find the conclusion, like find the answer, get the result, all of this, and driving my energy towards that. And all of a sudden, I'm talking to Gary Douglas and Dane here, and they're saying, no, ask a question. And I'm like, what do you mean ask a question? Ask a question, don't look for a result? Yeah. Ask a question, like step outside of your comfort zone, step outside of your reality, and start receiving from the entirety of the universe. It's like, what else could show up?
That reminds me when I first started to come to some of the Access classes, I would come up to the mic and I would start to talk about a problem, thinking that that's what I needed to do. I had no idea how much I had been entrained or had seen things around me thinking that's what it was about. And I'd start, and that Gary and Dane or both would be like, Sylvia, do you really have a problem? I was like, no. And I'd walk off. And then I'd come to another class. But what's stumped me is when I finally got, oh my gosh, okay, so I finally got to another class. Okay, I don't have a problem. But then what? Because I had, like you just mentioned, had been, putting my energy to try to figure out what my problem was that I could solve. And they said, so I go, so then what else do you do on this planet? When it comes to living here, create. And in my mind, it was create. What are you talking about? It was such a foreign concept. Can you speak a little about that? What's the difference when you're not looking at money as the problem, but shifting your energy to creation?
Well, shifting your money to creation, and what if you became a steward of money? Like, what would that be? And for me, that's the energy of how you be with money. Because if you think of, money comes, knocks on your door, how do you be with it? It's like, do you yell at it? Do you tell it it's not enough? Do you welcome it? Are you grateful for it? Do you dismiss it? Are you embarrassed by it? Do you think it's not possible? Do you doubt that they're at your door? They should be at somebody else's door? Like, what comes up for you? Money comes looking at your door. And what if you could be with money? You could be with wealth, with, like, the abundance of what is available, and be a steward of money. Like, if you look at, we talk about people being stewards of the land, right? Or stewards of the people. Unfortunately, in this moment, I don't think any of our politicians around the world are actually stewards of the people and the land. But we used to have it, and I do believe we can have that again. And there are people in the world who are stewards of the land. What if you were a steward of money? What would that be like for you? Like, what if you had a generosity of spirit? I remember Gary Douglas saying to me many years ago that if you have a generosity of spirit, the universe will gift you at least 10 times more. No, I think he lied, because I've noticed that the universe gives to you way more than 10 times when you have a generosity of spirit. And if I look at my bananas, I'm talking about my backyard, I deliberately grew some of the banana trees, like one's actually on the other side of the fence, and then they're right next to the fence. So if you're walking past and going to the beach, my idea is pick a banana, like, pick a passion fruit. Like, what if we all had this energy where we were being a gift and receiving a gift as well? And to me, that's like, what would it be like to be a steward of money, a steward of your money? What would you create if you were a steward of money? The one thing is you'd have to get is there's not a limited amount of money. There is so much money. And let's do this for a second. If you're listening to this now or in the future, if you can, shut your eyes, not if you're driving, but just shut your eyes for a second. And I want you to tap into the energy of money all around the world. like all the different currencies, the different forms, like even if you look at gold, silver, platinum, etc., and tap into the energy of money across the whole entire world. And as you take a big breath and be really aware of your body and breathe out and go even further out across the entire planet, and even like fly up into, into the solar system, into the whole universe. Wow, interesting. As you go up and out into the whole entire universe, and if you look down the planet, does money even matter? You know, as you're aware of all the money, is there a lack of money, or is there just people choosing a lack of money? So how many of you listening to this are choosing a lack of money when you could be being a steward of money and choosing more money, choosing to receive money, and choosing to do and be something different with money? Money done different. So I am going to put a link down here that we have the class up here, SimoneMelisses.com, MDD. There's also other Joy Business facilitators who are doing the Money Done Different classes. But what if it was time for you to choose something different? So like whether you're in debt, whether you have money. I mean, at the moment, Sylvia, I'm also looking at different things and asking, okay, how many more revenue streams can I create? And I'm looking to diversify my life. I'm Australian with an Australian passport, right? And all my money comes into Australia. And most of my clients are outside of Australia, and I'm paying all these taxes there, which I'm fine with paying tax, okay? There's a joy of taxes. That's a whole other topic. But what if I could diversify? What if I could, and I also don't desire to have my only home be in Australia. So I'm looking at what else is possible. I'm currently, in the process of getting a Lithuanian passport, which means I would have an EU passport. So, and then, you're in Costa Rica, and I've got a private casita that'll be being built in Costa Rica. So I'll spend more time there. So what do I want to create and what do I want to choose? Like, what diversity is available for you? Diverse financial reality is available that you've not yet chosen, because you're trying to function from what you were told you should, rather than what if money done different for you is different. It's your reality with money.
I would get that. That was, thank you for that exercise too, because that shifted a lot. It actually also added a relaxation in my body that I hadn't noticed wasn't like that before. Where was I going to go? The train left the station there.
But you know what? That's a space that should be available with money all the time.
That.
Like you just said, that the relaxation. Like, so right now, if you're listening to this again, now or in the future, what if you chose relaxation with money? Like, as Sylvia mentioned before, which I think is hysterical because it occurs with everybody. Where do you think you have a problem? What if you no longer had a problem, but there was a possibility available? So wherever you think you have a problem, like even write them down. Write down all the problems you think you have and look at it and go, okay, if this wasn't a problem, what possibility is available? And be with it. Indulge, engage in the energy. Being in the energy of what is possible is being a steward of money.
And that's exactly where I wanted to head. It was, you often talked about or asked, if money wasn't a problem, like what would you choose different? And you just went there, exactly that space. And so I'm really grateful for this shift that you made with this new class, Money Done Different. The moment you did it, it was almost like I was included in a different way. Like there was just a new space there. Yeah.
No, I get that too, because it's like a few people have said to me, why'd you change it? And I'm like, getting out of debt joyfully, like I said at the beginning, is people don't want to admit it, or they just want to stay in it, and Money Done Different is you get to choose what works for you. You get to choose to change your financial reality a little bit or a lot. You can have money. You can, just be desiring to pivot, change something, create more wealth, or you can have no money. You can be in debt. It's like, what if now is the time and the space for you to actually choose different?
Well, that, definitely that. And I am so grateful for this new space and possibility as things are changing. I mean, we cannot deny it all around the planet. Things are changing, but that doesn't mean you have to live in scarcity and in problems. I think that's one of the beautiful invitations you have always been in this area of business and money for me. And, you know, that vulnerability to always share what's coming up for you as you look at different things that show up, but then you always shift it into a question and creation. And see, you know, you talked about different revenue streams. I have seen you in action. It's just like, I mean, it is brilliant to witness the creation of a new business and the different elements and everyone you include and what you add. Is there anything else that you would add to anyone here that knows they're looking to change the way they relate to money? Like, where can they? What question can they take away? I mean, there's so much
I
here.
think you've got to start with being vulnerable with what it is you would like. Like, so
Uh-huh.
even, I mean, I know I'm saying write a list and some of you will do it and some of you won't do it. It could be written. I find writing things down sometimes helps me, like old school, like literally pen and paper.
Yeah.
And be vulnerable with yourself and ask yourself, if it wasn't about the money, what would you choose? Because just as you're saying that, and thank you, Sylvia, I'm grateful for your acknowledgement as well. And it's been so different for me over the many, many years. Like, I'm 56, and what I've created with money over the years has definitely been different. I think sometimes I created myself to be a financial mess so I could write a book about it, and, you know, didn't always come from money. So it's, you know, things change, and I've used the tools and I've changed things. But if you look at, so two things that have come up for me recently is, one, you know, you're in Costa Rica at our property in Algar, and I desired to contribute to the horses there, and I desired to contribute to the breed of horses. It's so beautiful being there, and I love riding and all of that. So I asked a few of the cowboys some questions, and he was like, "We need another good mare. You know, we need another good, you know, purebred mare." And so when I found this mare, it matched the energy, right? So it's a whole bunch of money, and it matched the energy. And she's like, she does the paso, and she's, you know, she's amazing and she's beautiful. And so I negotiated the price, and then the next day I find out she's got a 5-month-old foal, and I was like, I can't just take her away from a foal. And I was like, well, how much for the foal, you know? And so I ended up buying the foal as well. And he's a colt, so it's a male horse.
Mhm.
His line is really good. Like, his father is a champion, and so he could end up being, you know, a major contribution to this as well. So this costs a whole lot of money to contribute to the breeding of horses, okay? But it was congruent with what I'm asking for. So I'm going to choose that, and I'm going to trust that I'm going to generate something different. I'm going to generate more. It's going to contribute to something bigger, okay? Out of my control. So there's that. Now, the other thing I've been looking at too is, what if I wanted to just go and be in nature for a month? Can I? And at the moment I was like, I could. And what revenue streams could I create that would allow me to choose that? You know, I was talking to a friend, I was being quite extravagant and going, you know, what about 5 years, if I lived in nature for 5 years? And he said to me, you'd be bored. And I said, yeah, but I'm not even allowing myself to indulge in that. And so when I started to indulge, it's opened up these doors to, there's a few things that have shown up, Sylvia, and I'm not 100% sure like what they look like or etc. But I can perceive these doors opening up to go, hey, here's some more of this. Like, this can show up for you, that may allow you to change how much you travel or how many classes you do or something like that. I'm not sure what it is. And I love facilitating. It's just, I would like my whole entire life to be a choice and to enjoy every choice and not do anything from necessity. Always choose from what matches an energy of where I'm heading as me. Like, what am I choosing and who am I choosing it for? And can I please have more of that universe, and let's go in that direction.
I so love that, Simone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It reminds me one of the One of the facilitations I received not too long ago is like you have to actually get clear on what you would like and not judge it.
Yeah.
Like, how much do we judge if you do want to be 5 years in the woods, you know? It's like, and then you judge it and then don't even, you know, consider creating that as a possibility. You might not choose it, but just the possibility and that freedom.
Exactly.
Yes.
Well, you know, it's funny because the thing that actually popped for me that made me start looking at that is spending 10 days at Elugar over Christmas, because I had no classes on.
Mhm.
And I had a beautiful hammock on my bungalow veranda. And I was like, wow, you can spend hours on that hammock just listening to the birds, and maybe the rain comes down, or, you know, the monkeys are there, etc. And then horse riding once, maybe twice a day, going for a walk. And I was like, this is nice. You know, I really enjoyed that 10 days. So that's actually what sparked me going, huh, what if I could actually gift myself more of that too? And what does that create, you know?
So I wonder what new will open up with this upcoming class, Money Done Different, and maybe even rereading Getting Out of Debt Joyfully with this new space. That whole chapter on generosity of spirit is in there as well. So it's brilliant, all of it. And what an invitation to something new. And I would say maybe more of that personal sense of being honest with ourselves of what we'd like to create and
Please,
shift. Yeah.
please, 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 please don't duplicate other people's realities. Choose yours. Like, honestly, that's taken me a friggin' long time to get to that. And more of that, please. Yeah. So I put the link up there again, where the class is on. It starts in March and it's online only. So come join us, come play. It's in a whole bunch of languages. But if you go to that link, SimoneMillises.com/MDD, Money Done Different, it'll have all the information there. And if you need to talk to someone, we've got Sylvia Prentice is the lead host on it. We've got a whole bunch of people contributing. So I'm grateful, and I'm very excited too, because what else is possible?
And if I can add maybe two more questions that I would ask when it was this big choice in my world, and now even for little ones, but if I choose this, so if you choose this class, what will your life be like in 5 and 10 years? Like that willingness to step out of the head. You mentioned your choice, even with the horses, like it matched something. So that willingness to take a leap when you can perceive that contribution of what that choice will be in the future you'd like to create. So we look forward to having you all write to us. Let us know what questions you have. And Simone, may you continue to enjoy every day. And thank you again for the inspiration and your lead on being different with money. So thank you.
Thank you, Sylvia. Thank you for your joy. I'm always I love talking to you. You've got so much joy in your world just from being. So thank you.
Yeah.
I'm grateful. I appreciate it. And thank you, translators. Mwah.
Yes.
You're the best. All right. We'll see you in the class soon.
Yay.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.